U.S. Department of Education Student Privacy Policy Office launched an investigation into the Maine Department of Education. This investigation comes amid reports that dozens of Maine school districts are violating or misusing Family Educational Rights Privacy Act, or FERPA, by maintaining policies that infringe on parents' rights.
U.S. Department of Education says the district's policies allegedly allow for schools to create gender plans supporting a student's transgender identity and then claim those plans are not education records under FERPA and therefore not available to parents. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon says parents and guardians have the right to access their child's education records to guide and safeguard their child's mental, emotional, and physical well-being.
So that's a report from WABI. And this is, and they're out of Bangor, Maine, by the way. This is what's going on. And Parents Defending Education has been at the forefront of this. They've really taken a lead on this because this is what they do, right? Their name kind of says it all. And the president and founder of Parents Defending Education was with Secretary McMahon yesterday when she made the announcement. And we played that announcement yesterday. It was a few days back, but we played it yesterday. And I think it's important that we have people out there that are organizing. We have people out there that are taking the lead on this and bringing in the big legal guns like Sarah Parshall-Perry and others that know what's going on and know exactly what to do. And Nicole Neily is the president and founder of Parents Defending Education, and she's with us now. Nicole, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. So tell us about your partnership with the DOE, or your meeting with the secretary, how that came about, and bring us up to speed on where you're at.
Sure. So my organization actually has been tracking what we call parental exclusion policies since early 2023. And so these are districts around the country that have affirmatively passed policies that say you as a parent do not have the right to know your child's gender identity at school. And in the state of Maine, my coworker actually had sent public records requests to districts around the state, and we identified 57 districts and counting. We're still waiting on responses from a few that have these policies in the books, which is just simply mind-boggling. I mean, you think about all the things that you worry about when you send your kid to school, all the times that you have to sign a permission slip to. They can have sunscreen, they can have an aspirin. I mean, parents have to be read in on absolutely everything. They can't go on a field trip without your permission. Yet this is a really important part of a child's life and identity, that administrators are just making these unilateral decisions saying, you know what, we know better than you do about your kid. And they're also assuming, often based on religion or politics or something like that, that a parent might be unsafe, unloving, unsupportive of their child.
Mm-hmm.
And then they are, frighteningly telling kids, let's keep secrets from mom and dad. And you think about the kind of long-term effects that will have, both in the parent-child relationship as well as, this is not just an LGBT issue. This is an everybody issue. We look at this epidemic of, children getting into relationships with teachers or other unsavory adults when they're minors. And so the idea of keeping a secret from mom and dad, I mean, we tell our children from very, very young ages, if somebody makes you feel unsafe, you let me know. And the fact that this is being done to our children with our tax dollars behind our back is such a slap in the face. It's really mind-boggling.
Nicole Neily, I've had people on this program that have commented, like psychologists and otherwise activists, that have mentioned to me that exactly what you're talking about, that teaching a kid that it's okay to lie to mom or dad or to keep a secret from mom or dad is like the first step in grooming a child for pedophilia.
Yeah, it's appalling that this kind of thing is taking place from coast to coast. And I mean, let's take a step back and think about the rationale. If a school official believes that a child is in an unsafe environment for any reason, they are mandatory reporters. They must report that to Child Protective Services, to the state. And as onerous as, and I'm sure we have all heard horror stories about the Child Protective Services process, there at least is due process built into that, where they'll call you in, you have evidence, you get to talk about, well, just because I don't let my kid play on their iPad until midnight doesn't make me a bad parent. It means that I have boundaries, that, we're trying to set an example, et cetera. But for those kinds of decisions to be made just unilaterally is really, it's kind of crazy, and the fact that this is only coming up in the context of gender really, to me, shows that many of these officials that are trying to push these policies aren't doing it because they love the child. It's because they're trying to achieve a political end, using our children as human shields in the process.
Nicole Neily is the president and founder of Parents Defending Education. You can get her online on X at Nikki Neily. And I want to continue to kind of delve into the nuts and bolts of this FERPA accusation, because I think a lot of people don't even know what FERPA is. And this is it's very alarming that it's continuing to happen. Some states, like in California, they tried to pass a law. They might have even passed it, where they kind of codified the idea that guidance counselors can make this determination and even take the kids away from a parent. I'm not sure if that ended up going through, but it was a horrible idea when it was proposed. So, folks, keep it locked right here. We're going to return with Nicole Neily, president and founder of Parents Defending Education, and me, Rich Valdes. Don't go anywhere.
Part of my pre-competition ritual is to check the online registration to see who is going to be there and just double check my check-in times. And on the registration list, I saw Redmond Sullivan's name listed there. And I recognized this individual from a previous Redux article that had been written stating that this person was a man who had previously competed on the men's team at Wagner and was now competing as a woman within the USFA. So from that point, I just got really disappointed with the USFA and with this tournament, and I just felt like at a loss. I'd already committed so much money to it and training hours, and I was literally looking forward to this. I do this tournament every year. Yeah. I think this may be like my 10th year in a row doing this tournament. And I just got really sad and I started crying.
Now, that wasn't the end of it. Listen to this.
Initially, I told them that I was refusing defense because this person is a man and I am a woman, and this is a women's tournament, and I refused defense on principle. My opponent was a little bit confused, thinking that I was maybe hurt, and I said, no, I am refusing defense you because I'm a woman and you are a man. I have much love and respect for you, but I will not compete against you. His response was, okay, but there's a member of the board of directors here, and he supports me, and there's a policy that says that I'm a woman and I'm allowed to compete in the women's tournament, and if you do this, you're going to get black carded. And I said, I know.
So not only are they making her fight a guy, but if she doesn't, she'll get blacklisted. I mean, this is crazy talk where I come from, but Nicole Neily, I think this is par for the course in today's world. What say you?
This is absolutely par for the course. I mean, women have been fighting for years at this point against the Biden administration's overreach, previously the Obama administration's overreach. But we're being gaslit. I mean, when you have girls saying, I fear for my safety, I fear for my privacy, I have spent thousands of hours, as she's alluded to, trying to earn a place on a podium, a scholarship, et cetera, and then be told, no, you're the bigot, you're the hateful one. It's kind of crazy. And I think that's why so many women and so many parents are so thrilled that President Trump has taken such a strong stance to say absolutely not. And I think one of the really important things in his executive order addressing the men's and women's sports issues is he said not only does this affect universities and schools and districts, but also the athletic associations. And then you think down the line, we're hosting the Olympics in 2028. And he said, people will not be given visas who are men that try to compete in women's sports. And so we have seen, even in districts like I live in Northern Virginia, where they have said, no, we're going to continue to allow this. It's actually been parents that have finally spoken up, even ones that are trying to be kind of, nice and polite in liberal areas, because they don't want their schools to be dropped from these athletic associations. They still want their kids to be able to compete in state, et cetera. And so I think we're going to start to see changes. Sadly, the fencing association seems to be a straggler in this respect, but I do think eventually there will be compliance with federal law.
Yep. I totally agree with you. Something has to be done, because you can't allow this type of thing to happen, right? To start blacklisting athletes who don't want to, get into potentially dangerous situations. I've seen some of these volleyball athletes and others that have competed against men, and it can be brutal sometimes.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about even lacrosse, which is very popular in Virginia. Male lacrosse players throw a ball an average of 85 to 95 miles an hour. They have chest protectors. They wear helmets for that reason. Female lacrosse players throw a ball an average of 45 to 65 miles an hour. They don't have that kind of protection in place. And so you put a male athlete into a game like that against a bunch of females who are not protected, you could kill someone. I mean, there are very serious, as you said, safety concerns here. And then to turn around and tell these girls, well, you know, you're a bad person. I'm from a town in outside of the Chicago suburbs where junior high made a bunch of girls change in front of a biological male. They frog marched these girls back in and said, you must change for gym class in front of this boy. It is crazy what is happening in 2025. And the fact that we have to stand up and say, over my dead body, will you do this to my daughter, is mind-boggling.
Nicole Neily, I want to thank you for being on top of these issues and being front and center for the fight for parents, right? Fighting with parents, for parents at PDE. Please let everybody know how they can support the work you're doing at Parents Defending Education and how they can keep up to speed with the work that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Our website is defendinged.org. We have a map where we put incidents that we hear about like this on so people can track and see what's happening in their own backyard. They can also submit tips to us. We have a tip line where they can check if they want to be anonymous. And so we'll go on TV, we'll be on radio, we'll out the bad guys. But it is very much a situation where sunshine is the best disinfectant, because if people know that this is happening in their backyard, in their state, it gives them a reason to get off the sidelines, and it gives policymakers a reason to get engaged. So, follow us on social media, X, Facebook, Instagram, all the things, because there's a lot to do.
Outstanding. Folks, give her a follow, check her out, support the work that they're doing. They're out there on the front lines. Nicole Neily, you are a gentlewoman, a scholar, and a patriot, and I thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.